Okay, welcome everybody. Good to have you here. We're really excited for today's webinar because this is what we call internally our V2, right? Our second iteration and kind of big update of our product. We've been calling this security workflows because that's the feature that we launched, and it is awesome. If you haven't already seen on our website, we've got a bunch of videos, and we wrote a blog on it, and we meaning Guy, and and some great collateral in there that you can use to get some more details of data sheet in there. But today is a little more hands-on and a little more background, a little deeper dive into it. And we've got our head of product, Guy Rosenthal, who is here to take you down that road. As always, we are recording this, so you can watch this after. And if you have questions, just click on that little question mark button there, and we will definitely save some time for a Q&A towards the end. But we'll go through this now, and I'll give you Guy Rosenthal.
Thank you so much, Sam. So let me share my screen. Okay, 1 second. I'll share it again. Great. So in this webinar, we are going to cover one of the most challenging and complicated aspects of the SaaS security and the cloud SaaS security, the data access control in a multi-SaaS world. The agenda for today is that we first describe the problem and the challenging situation we are aiming to solve. And next, we will briefly describe some of the SaaS data elements. And later on, we will talk on why the current solutions and technologies are falling behind on the promise. And at the second part, I will describe how we at DoControl are ready for the challenge, and how we're using our brand new security workflows, as Sam just described, how it can help with solving the most complicated security and IT scenarios around the data access control. So let's start. Let's talk about the problem for a second. We know SaaS usage as part of the cloud computing growth is on the rise, right? And as a result, SaaS collaboration is booming. The trend started even before the COVID-19 era, but the pandemic significantly accelerated it. And the aspect puts this aspect actually puts your critical data in high risk, as it can be shared with unauthorized co-workers, contractors, or God forbidden publicly. IDPs, identity providers, or any other identity management processes do leave sharing as is, even after the shells are being the sharers are being deactivated or deprovisioned. And organizations store huge amount of data without the proper guardrails, tools, and policies to manage them correctly and efficiently. As a result, a decent set of internal and external threat models and vectors are becoming super common, very common, such as data theft, overexposure, over teams, encryption keys sharing, and wrong or unauthorized public or external sharing that are being allowed in order to allow business flows, productivity, and continuity. And this equation is basically explains the whole story very clearly. You have thousands of employees collaborating using tens of SaaS applications with different data access models and permission mechanisms, sharing hundreds of thousands and even millions of assets. This may lead to a total chaos very, very, very quickly. So as a result, it put your organization in a huge risk as it increases the attack surface and the data breach likelihood tremendously. So let's talk about SaaS data, okay, and what are those SaaS applications holding, and let's define the risk together. So any SaaS application holds an inventory data, okay? This is basically all of the assets, users, groups, domains, departments, and so forth. And if you will take a snapshot of it at any given time of the inventory, you can understand the exposure risk. It means that nothing really happened right now, but can and you can get a really good understanding of the attack surface. So, for instance, you have 5,000 files that are shared publicly, that are in shared publicly status, or 250 terminated employees that still have access to the organization data, or 2,000 shares that are not being used by anyone. You got the deal. Another type of data will be around real-time actions, users doing actions in the SaaS applications. This can give you the prism of immediate risk, anomaly, or policy violation. So for instance, about to leave employees downloading massively now, or Sam is sharing with his private Gmail account now. Guy is sharing PII or any sensitive files publicly now. It means that something happened and an event was raised, and we got the notification on that. We got the understanding that something happened. So this is another type of risk and another type of data. And this is actually a good segue to go and describe the main element in the SaaS data, which is the event. So there are hundreds of SaaS applications with hundreds of possible user actions, and there should be a mechanism to monitor those and react automatically and intelligently to those. So how it does work? So integrators, vendors, and also us, DoControl, register to those SaaS applications events and able to get real-time notifications and respond or process them accordingly. So for instance, if Guy shared a file in the general channel Slack, this will raise an event. If Adam viewed a file in his My Drive in Google Drive, we'll get an event. If Liel will publicize a repository, we'll get an event. So events hold a very meaningful data to react on. And the challenge here is to be able to listen to all of the events, all of the applications, and make the automation mechanism flexible and granular enough, and most importantly, accessible and robust. What is missing? Okay, it looks simple, but it isn't. And there are several technologies and solutions out there that really fail to deliver, and they leave a huge security hole organizations struggle to cover. Is it already clear to you? A best-in-class automatic mechanism is needed in order to handle the variety, right? The equation that you just saw, the chaos equation. So let's look at some alternatives here. So native SaaS security features, those are basically the SaaS application's pre-built functionality that let you somehow manage those permissions or this data access mechanism. Those are minimal, they are not granular enough, very limited, and the most important thing that they are silent, right? If you have a platform or a mechanism in Google Drive, it will not cover other SaaS. So you don't have kind of like a single pane of glass to manage them all. CASB, for instance. So everything there is hard-coded, okay, and super complicated. Hard-coded threat models and hard-coded conditions, and also the operational and performance deficiencies are really significant. In-house scripts, okay, so you can write scripts in several languages, but it's very error-prone, it requires expertise, it's not scalable, it's very hard to operate and maintain. None of those are really good solutions to handle the problem. So for that, DoControl for the rescue, okay? Today, we are introducing the security workflow, and this is, as Sam mentioned, this is basically our second generation of our policy engine. And now we're able to handle the challenge in the most effective way. So our customers can benefit and basically create any business logic that is relevant to the risk and to the IT or security needs. How we are doing it, or what's new? So in the past, in our first generation, we have only 4 triggering types of events, right? And they were fixed and hidden, and our customers didn't have any control over them. And now we have the ability to create policies or workflows in the granularity of any SaaS and any events. We can support more than 500 events, and any new event that is being exposed by the SaaS app, or if the SaaS application will add additional events, we will get it automatically and seamlessly. So no code change is needed in our solution, and our customers will benefit. They will just appear in our mechanism. So no hard-coded events, nothing. Secondly, we are talking about low code, or what we call the building blocks to build those workflows. Okay, so we support a catalog of tens of those building blocks, and we enable our users to create any security policy logic that they may want with a very intuitive, drag and drop functionality. And those building blocks exponentially, increases the options to create any workflow or logic to support any, the craziest use case they may desire. And compare it to what we have today in our first generation, where we had only 4 building blocks. And lastly, we are talking about predefined, a pre-established workflows catalog that consists of 40 plus playbooks and counting. We're building it up, and those are there to cover the most common threat models and use cases we are hearing and customers are demanding. While in our first generation, we had only very limited catalog with very limited options. So what our customers are actually looking for? What are the use cases they care about, and how can they now, using workflows, actually address them? So, for instance, first use case is about sharing of PII information. Someone publicly shared a file in Google Drive. Okay, they would like to scan the file for PII information and make a kind of like a decision tree, a workflow. If the file contains a PII in a probability that is higher than 85%, notify the security team in Slack, open a ticket in Jira, and then revoke or remove the share. Okay, if it doesn't contain the PII, ask if if the file was shared by the finance team. If yes, notify the data owner and then remove the share. If it's not from the finance team, you probably want to give it additional grace, so you can wait additional 30 days and then remove the share. So this is one workflow. Another one is encryption key sharing. Okay, you would like to monitor if someone is uploading a file to Slack. You will check if it's encryption key. If yes, you can go the branch and eventually revoke the risk by deleting the file. Or if you have about to leave employees that are sharing externally and you would like to see if they share with their private accounts, with their Gmail before they leave, meaning they want to steal critical information and critical data. And if so, you might want to push it to some source system and then remove the share. Or if they're not leaving employees, you would like to wait and then remove the share. Two more, snooze sharing. Okay, someone would like to be more graceful with the action, so someone externally share. You would like to notify the actor, wait for 60 days, then check again if the file is still shared. If not, if yes, go back and do kind of like a loop, wait, notify, etc. And if it's not shared anymore, that's it. You can notify the security operation that this file is not shared anymore. The last one here is about third-party to fourth-party sharing, where basically you have someone who is externally shared, and you want to make sure that the actor, the one who shared, is maybe a contractor who shared with another contractor that is not allowed to see the data. And if so, you probably would like to notify or push it to another remediation flow with SOAR and then remove the share. So let's see it in action. So first of all, let's see the playbook catalog. So our playbook catalog consists of two separate modes. One is the use case, and here you can see the different threat models: asset monitoring and isolation, collaborating sharing, malware propagation, public sharing, etc., or by the application itself. And again, this is growing as we speak. So if we will go, for example, to encryption keys sharing, we can go to a pre-made, predefined playbook that we already created for notification on encrypted keys in Slack. So as you can see, this is the canvas. This is the drag and drop area. Here you have the actions, the building blocks, the Lego bricks that you can basically drag and drop and connect and create your workflows very, very easily and intuitively. And here we have a pre-made playbook for monitoring and notifying when someone is uploading to Slack. So the trigger here is an event in Slack called file created. Okay, and here is the catalog of all of the events available in Slack, but also in other applications. You have a very, very long list. And a pre-made conditions that are actually asking or using the events fields of file created in Slack to ask if the file name that was just shared or just upload contains suffixes that are relevant to encryption keys, or that suffixes of encryption keys. So you have a very sophisticated condition, and if it is will evaluate to true, means that the file is an encryption key, then you probably would like to notify your security operation. It is already made here. It's already pre-made message here. You can choose. You only need to choose the channel that you would like to send the message to. So for here, I will choose the notify SecOps, and you can look how a message might look like. If you would like also to remediate it, you can also drag a delete file of Slack to remediate it. So this will immediately remove the file from Slack that was just uploaded, and by that eliminate the risk. All you need to do here is just add the file ID from the event. That's it. You have a flow that is ready to use. I would like to show you how you are starting from scratch. This is another example, and will give you kind of like an understanding how rich our event catalog and the conditions are. So let's choose a SharePoint event called added to secure link. It means that if someone is sharing externally, or someone, shared with someone, with a collaborator, this event will trigger. And now we would like to add several conditions, and you can see how easy it is to create several or to cover many threat models in a second. So first of all, I will ask if the user, that actually the actor, the one who actually shared it, is from the finance group. Okay, so when someone from finance shares something, shares externally. Okay, so it is the sharer is from the finance, and I would like to check if the target, which is the target user group or name, is not in our trusted domains. Okay, so it means that this file was shared externally. Okay, so this is one thing. Secondly, I can ask if this sharer from the finance shared with his private account. So I have here a group of private accounts with those suffixes, and this is another threat model, right? Someone from finance shared with his private account. Okay, I can also monitor or trigger on internal share that might be not allowed. So if in my organization, I'm not allowing finance to share with R&D, for instance. So this is another use case. And I can also illustrate how third-party to fourth-party sharing can be also a condition for this workflow to work. So I can say, if the user email contains my contractor domain, means acme.com, and also the target is not in our trusted domains, okay, and not contains acme.com, it means that the sharer is not from my domain, it's probably the third party, but the target is also not from my domain, it's not from my contractor domain, and this is a good condition to work with. So giving you how easy create conditions, how easy and flexible and granular the mechanism is. Let's try to do something more complicated here. Let's try to do something about public sharing on Google. Okay, so the event in Google of public sharing called change document visibility. This is not the event that says someone actually shared publicly. It has some fields or some conditions in it, or some different data that you need to ask in order to trigger it. But you can we can have the condition on it very easily. So we can either select from the event itself, but in Google, the structure of the events are super complicated, and for that we have a mechanism of what we call JSONata querying, in which we can see here the event itself, or example event of Google, and create JSONata queries to fetch the information from the event in real time. We also support macros here to help our customers to do it much more easily. So for here, we have a macro is public share. It returns a Boolean false or true, and we can ask if this event occurred and it is publicly shared, then do something. Okay, So the event here is when someone shares publicly. Okay. Now I would like to ask to drag here a condition to be more specific and ask if it is someone from finance. Okay, so I will ask about the actor if he is in the finance group. Okay. If it is from a finance group, I would like to have here an approval logic. Okay, this approval logic is basically, or it's basically applicable for the DoControl admins, or the sharer or anyone else that you would like to have an approval for, or the manager of the actor or anyone else. So you have several methods to approve in. First of all is in DoControl itself. You can also send a mail, and you can also send the approval in Slack, and this action is blocking. Okay, so you might want to ask here to give some information. So you can say the actor has shared file publicly. Do you approve? Okay. Now I can also send it in mail. Approval is needed. And this is how it looked like. This is like the template that will be sent to the recipient. I can say that the recipient here will be my SecOps team. I can also notify or approve in Slack, in which here I can ask the sharer itself, the actor itself, to approve. So I can do something like that. Or I can ask the manager to approve it. And also paste here the message, and this is how it will look like in Slack. I can also send it in Slack channel to the security operation team, so in the designated channel. Okay, and this is how the message would look there. And the last thing here is if someone ignores this approval operation, let's say in 4 days, I want the timeout branch or the timeout logic will occur. So what I will do here, I will do something like that. So if the approver approved this public shell, I will send a message to the SecOps. That's it. This share is allowed. Okay. If it doesn't, or if a timeout occurs, no one approved in 4 days, I would like to send a message, and then I would like to remediate it. I would like to remove this public shell. Okay, and if it doesn't, if this shell is not approved, is rejected, I would like to send an email to the actor and then remove the public shell. And this is the once it is from finance. If it's not from finance, I can say, okay, I can be more tolerant here. I can wait 1 month and then remove the public shell. Super easy. Okay. So this is basically the idea here. And another thing that it might be interesting here to understand is that all of those actions can actually refer to previous actions and get their input and output very easily. And also the workflow metadata about the name, the description, the creation, the created by, who actually created it, what is the execution time is also important if you would like to use it as part of your notification mechanism inside the workflows. So let's move back to the presentation. So as you saw, compared to the solution, compared to the deficiencies or what is lacking today in the field, this solution gives you a full granularity, any SaaS, any event, any condition. It is scalable and event-driven, and you have here the automation and the data in a single solution. This is unique. Some other providers or other competitors, they don't have this ability. They have either the automation or the data, but not combined. And this is super strong. As you saw, I created a very complicated use cases and scenarios and business logic in a matter of minutes, and it's super intuitive and easy to design and to operate. So the low total cost of ownership is there. And I didn't demonstrate it, but the idea here is also to give you kind of like an understanding of your posture. What is your remediation versus automation coverage, and how good are you with covering your risk? So to recap, 4 points. First of all, the SaaS collaboration is booming and exposing a significant security risk to the business. Secondly, the equation, right? Tens of SaaS applications, thousands of employees, millions of files and assets, chaos. The alternatives are falling short, right, due to the operational, contextual, and flexibility deficiencies. And flexibility, granularity, and simplicities are keys for comprehensive policy automation system. So thank you very much, and back to you, Sam, for additional questions from the audience.
Okay. Yeah, great, fantastic, thank you. It was awesome. So if you have questions, just click on that question mark there. I see a couple have come in. First, are you going to support data scanning for sensitive information?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that we're working on these days, having what we call a PII scanning action. As you saw, we have a variety of actions that you can drag and drop. One of them will be a generic PII action in which you can drag and by that scan the content of the file for PII in specific threshold or probability, and you'll get the understanding if this file contains a PII information, what are the keywords, and any other information from the file itself.
Got it. Okay. Let's see, next question. What about cross SaaS use cases? Do you support that?
Yeah, so definitely this is something that is available inherently as part of the workflow itself, because you can drag and drop, anything basically that you want. So potentially you can get an event from SaaS application A and do some other action in SaaS application B. A good use case for that is our integration with CrowdStrike, for instance. We can listen to a malware detection event from CrowdStrike, which is one SaaS application, and then we can notify in Slack and also delete the file if it exists in one of the SaaS that we are integrated. So it can be all of them. So detecting in CrowdStrike, then check if it exists in Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, whatever, and if it's there, it's a malicious file, delete it.
Cool. Let's see here. I think this is the last question. Can workflows be triggered by alerts or produce alerts in your system?
That's a good one. Yes, this is a future capability that we would like to have. We would like to have kind of like, alert that is covered by a workflow automatically. And this is going to be part of our alerting system. And also we will be we will let workflows to create alerts in our systems, and also create incidents or to pass the data to other systems such as SIEM or SOAR or ticketing systems such as Jira or ServiceNow. So definitely in our short roadmap.
Awesome. Great. I think that was the last question. So thank you. That was awesome. I will say also one last thing. We have another webinar next week, applying granular data access controls on Google Drive. So we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive on the Google Drive piece. That should be cool as well. Anyway, this is great. Thank you so much, Guy. Awesome. And we'll see everybody in the next one. Take care.
Bye-bye.